shall I start now?
Yes, you may start, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So without taking much time, I'm starting my presentation. I'm sure most of you have heard about this bibliometric analysis. Just give me a second. So is everyone able to see my screen? Sir, my screen is visible?
Yes, it's visible.
I'm struggling with how to minimize this particular meeting thing, sir.
No need, Pooja. You can just start the slideshow. We can see your PPT here.
Okay, sir. But I'm not able to see my full view actually. So that was the issue with me.
No problem. So on the right side, I think you can see the participants.
Yes, sir.
So there is a two-sided arrow. If you click on that arrow, that will be minimized. The chat, participants, etc. will be minimized if you click on the two-sided arrow.
Okay, sir, I've done that.
Okay, now you can start.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so today's topic is bibliometric analysis. And this is a very, buzzword around the research field and research world. And if you simple Google research, Google Scholar search, if you do a simple Google Scholar search, you'll find every day few papers are coming on bibliometric analysis. So even I was wondering what is all about. So that's why I explored about this particular domain of research. So that was it. And then I found various interesting things in that. But before going to bibliometric analysis, I think we should discuss something about what is literature review and how bibliometric analysis is connected with the literature. So my agenda for the presentation would be the literature review, some basic information about the literature review. And then the more focus of my presentation would be more around bibliometric analysis only, though I'll be talking about small things, small other related things, but that won't be in the much depth. The more depth understanding would be of bibliometric analysis, and that too with two tools, that is using BiblioShiny and VOSPHERE, right? So we all are familiar with literature review thing, right? We know we do literature review. In fact, no research can happen without literature review. And this is the first step whenever we want to do, either we want to submit a PhD synopsis or MPhil synopsis or anything, if we want to do write any research paper, we always start with the literature review because the topic or the concept on which we are going to research is based on the literature. And literature in a layman language is what all other people have done, and now what I will do. So literature in simple language means that only. So otherwise word is very heavy literature review, but our only intention to study the literature is that in whatever field we want to enter, we should know. It's as simple as that. When we want to go to a party and we are pretty new to that place, so our first step is very very small, and we are very observant about our surroundings, and we see what all things are around. So that's why we introduce, in the similar fashion, we introduce ourselves to our literature, in which domain we want to pursue the research. We put one step in that domain through literature review only, right? But the problem is that nowadays we are hearing one more word, that is called systematic literature review. So the question arises, this is a kind of literature review that we understand because literature review is there, but what is a systematic literature review? So let me show it with the help of one paper that you will understand what is the basic difference between literature review and systematic literature review. So I hope my paper is visible to everyone. This you can see the Journal of Service Research, and this is a literature review about service recovery, literature review and research issue, right? So in this paper, they have done some research or some literature review of service research, service recovery, right? And they have given their whatever abstract they wanted to give. But what I want to show the difference, how a literature review paper starts, or what is the methodology of the literature review, and what is the methodology of SLR. So I'll show that difference to you. So it's simple introduction, right? As we write, basic objective is same. We want to explore the field, whatever work has been done, but the methodology is different. So they have just simply give their objectives, right? And then they wrote a little bit about service recovery, and then they told the existing work they found, and now they said that these this review, service recovery literature has been examined. A total of 280 papers have been studied. These papers have been taken from 70 journals, and they have named few journals, and then they are telling about details about those papers. Now you can see that they have not anything clearly mentioned that what keyword they have used while they were looking for those papers. Was service recovery was the only keyword they were looking for, or any other keyword they have used, in which kind of domain they have searched the word, only business domain they have seen, or they have looked for social science domain also. So not much detail has been given about the methodology section. Definitely explanation is there, and there could be multiple ways to give your results. So that doesn't make any difference in LR paper or SLR paper. The reason lies in the difference lies in the methodology section only. Let me show now a SLR paper to you. Now it can be any SLR, maybe let's say we take this. Now this is a SLR of home sharing in marketing and tourism at a tipping point, right? Now they have done SLR. Now if you can see structure of SLR, now they have done the systematic review, and here they have taken few journals again, and yeah, here they have used Prisma, and we are hearing a lot about Prisma in last 2 days. So this was their framework, which I will be discussing in my explanation later on. So they have said that ABCD general ranking list was chosen, then general rank A star and A were selected. Source quality, which Raja sir was mentioning, I will not go much in detail of that, but yes, this is an important parameter when we do SLR study, that including source quality and relevance of the identification. And you can see that they are giving the keywords also, every point, how they have included the paper, how they have excluded the paper, what was the reason behind including and excluding, all details are there. And what one thing is missing while we are showing this paper, all the supplementary files which these authors submit to their editors, which we are not able to see, but we think that aise likh denge, if we write like this, the paper will be published. It's not that. We need to prove that we have taken all due steps with all due diligence and with proper ethical way, and then we go ahead in publishing a good journal. Otherwise it would be very difficult with whatever technique you use. But if you are not doing it in a proper way, you are not going to land anywhere. So this is the basic thing about SLR study, and we'll be focusing on each and every aspect while going through my presentations, right? So now let me move further. Bibliometric study se pehle, we just come to know, we should know that how many types of SLRs are available. Now this particular categorization of SLR is based on the paper published by Justin Paul et al. In 2020 by in Journal International Business Review, right? You could find many kind of classification. It's not that this is the only classification available with us. We have many classifications given by different scholars, but I find it pretty useful, and it's already published in a high impact journal. So I thought I should tell you in based on this categorization only. So if you can see from this diagram, systematic literature review has many types, many varieties. It's not that SLR is a common term which we use for all these kind of reviews, and in which bibliometric review is also one category. Now, if we say that these all are the types of SLR, then it definitely means that we have to follow some kind of, pattern, or, some method by which we can extract the paper. The beauty of SLR is that it is a technique which is very objective. When we define that we have used these keywords in this period, in this domain, in disciplines, or whatever filters you use, and you give that filters, so any person can check that, can verify that whether you get those results. Definitely there could be some time lag when you are writing the paper and submitting it to anyone, so they can take into account that kind of difference, but more or less the time frame, the sources, all the filters which you mention in your paper should be and the result should be approximately to the result which other person is getting. That's why it is an auditable measure of literature review. While simple literature review, one cannot find out whether actually we got so much of paper or not, and how we arrived at that result, and what was the reason behind not including a paper and not or excluding a paper. While in SLR, we give a very objective way to tell why we have taken one paper and why we have not taken one paper, to minimize the publication bias, as ma'am was also talking about. Right. So as this PPT shows that there are domain-based literature reviews, and under domain-based literature review, we have different 5 kind of literature review present. The first one is structured review. Now, if we talk about structure review, that we are doing structure, and again, methodology would be more or less same, right? So I'm not showing methodology of each and every kind of review, but I will show you how these results, how these SLRs are different in presenting their output. The basic idea is that how they discuss their findings, the difference, reside there only. So domain-based mein, first is structured review. As name is indicating, we define or we discuss our finding in a structured way, and these structure generally what we discuss, we can discuss what are the methods used by the studies, what are the theories being used by the literature or by the scholars still, and what are the main construct of that domain. And generally we provide the information in a tabular form, right? And generally 5 to 10 tables, depending upon the journal, and depending upon the domain, or depending upon your creativity, we can increase or decrease the number of tables. Some journals are very open to the number of tables, they don't have any objection, but few journals have certain kind of objection. So if you are targeting some particular journal, then definitely you plan your paper keeping in mind the structure of that journal, how many graph or pictorial thing that journal accept, or how many tables it accept. And if you are not that way very sure about that thing where you are going to put it, so then keep it to 5 to 10 tables between. So this is an example. The title of the paper is Entrepreneurial Learning from Failure, a Systematic Review. So I'm not showing the whole paper. You can check it out from yourself by looking at it, by searching for it. So I'm just going to give you a brief idea how they present the findings, right? So these are the different findings. They have made one table of main argument and main setting about the literature, like that. Now, second kind of SLR is framework based. One framework has been discussed in detail by Jaspreet ma'am, and that was the PICO framework. But other than PICO framework, we have many other framework available. And not only that, you can be creative with your framework also. You can also give some framework as your research contribution. So many people have given ADO, which stands for antecedents, decision, and outcome. Then 6W, that means you categorize the literature in that sense, giving the answer of these 6 Ws or questions. 7P framework, which was again given by Justin Paulson. And TCCM framework, that is theory, construct, characteristics, and methodology. So the whole idea is that you try to categorize the literature under these broad categories, because you need some kind of format to, some kind of thread to tie that literature. So these are basically the threads available to you, depending upon your domain, depending upon your interest, depending upon your capability. You can use anyone, or you can come up with a new one. So no boundaries there. So this is an example of 7P framework, how Justin Paulson has given. Now this is example of ADO framework, that is antecedent. So this paper is on financial literacy systematic review by Goyal and Kumar. So in this paper, financial literacy is the decision, and they have discussed different antecedent of literature, whatever they have found, and different outcomes available of that financial literacy in the literature. Now, if you can see the picture, you can understand SLR is all about taking a big task. Sometimes it may involve a work more than for your PhD. So we cannot be, if we really want to publish it in a good journal, only then, of course. So if you are targeting, if we are thinking that writing a SLR paper or using any bibliometric technique will guarantee me to publish A or A star, then we need to rethink about that, because we need to do a lot of work for doing that. And this is an example. This is a bibliometric and content analysis paper only, and I have taken just this part, and you can check it out from from your resources. What is this all paper about? Now, there are few literature paper available which aim for theory development, we use many theories. So definitely some scholars have given those theories at any point of time. So these papers do not, maybe in one go, they don't, empirically prove it. Maybe with first paper, they simply give a theoretical model, and maybe another go, they go for the empirical one, or they may go together also. That depends upon the research team, what they want to do. But this is another kind. Like, I'm sharing one framework with you, which is a 2019 paper in Journal of Marketing. It's the Journal of Marketing people. So it's basically about how to shift is the framework name, consumer behaviors to be more sustainable. Now, this is a theoretical framework till now. They have given in the context of collaborative consumptions. Now, as if you remember my first PPT, that one type is bibliometric also. So I'll not be spending much time right now here, but the basic thing is that this is a kind of literature review and it summarizes the content. But what kind it summarizes, that is a different story. So we'll come it in later slides. Now, hybrid review. It's not that whatever categorization I have shown, that you have to restrict yourself into that categorization. You can mix and match many kind of SLR. Like, you can use bibliometric with with meta. You can use bibliometric with domain based or structured review. You can give tables. It's all your creativity. Research is all about creativity and logical thinking, backed by the citations or references. So you can do anything, and you can be creative enough at the same time. Theory-based review. Theory-based review means you take out any theory from the literature, and you can do the literature review SLR of that theory also. This is one example. This is again latest paper, Extended Unified Theory of Acceptance and Use of Technology, that is UTAUT 2, only UTAUT 2. They have not even taken UTAUT 1. UTAUT 2, the SLR and theory evaluation. So you can check it out, this paper also. One kind is meta-analytical review, which ma'am has devoted 1.5 days. So I'll not be going into that thing. Now, this is the example. Then method-based review. Even you can do a SLR on some technique also. Like this paper, if you can see that common method bias in hospitality research, a critical review of literature and an empirical study. So you might have seen Neeraj Kaushik's video on common method bias. So that particular thing people have taken, and they have seen whatever what has been done till now in hospitality research about that common method bias, and they have come up with paper, one SLR paper. So these are few examples of different kind of SLRs. Again, some people have divided into another categorization, like qualitative kind of SLR, quantitative type of SLR. So the important thing is not the classification. The important thing is that what you do and how you do and what meaningful you give to the research fraternity out of your hard work. So name can be anything, right? The idea, what is your idea? So now I am moving to the bibliometric analysis. So basically, what is bibliometric? If we go literal meaning to the bibliometric analysis, it means book measurement. And here, how bibliometric analysis or SLR is different, that it doesn't go into the content of the paper. that is very amazing that you are presenting a SLR without going into SLR per se. But this is the one part of the paper. But that doesn't mean that you will not read the paper, but at one go, you are not maybe going to the physical properties. Like in Meta, ma'am was mentioning that we need to see a particular theory has been used, a particular relationship has been used, and we have to look for particular test, as sir was mentioning, that if they have used a similar test, similar constructs, only then we can pick those papers. So that means you have to go into the detail of the paper. You have to go for the physical reading, full text reading of the paper. Only then you can decide only then you can start the work, or only then you can start the work whether I can start the work or not, right? You can think. But for bibliometric, it is comparatively a layer technique, which ease your task, or I can put it in another way, it increases your task as you get deeper inside. Paraphrase say, when you see it from outside, it looks very easy, that yes, it's very easy, we have to make a file and then we will report the result. But the actually things like there, that how you are going to write about anything about which you don't know anything. So that means reading a literature is must. No software can escape you from doing that. But yes, this particular software will help you in knowing your data, which is very much important. Now, this is the guy behind this amazing technique, bibliometric, and he coined the term. So basically what we do, we analyze the extensive amount of published research using statistical tool. We should be agree on one point that we cannot fetch all the related paper by using, by doing manual research, by just going to Google search and, we are fetching. We have to take the help of these citation software or different softwares to fetch our result. And still we cannot be 100% sure that whether we have, collected all the relevant data. But definitely these citation softwares help us a lot in collecting maximum published work. So in bibliometric review, what we can do, we can make certain kind of visualizations, which is called this is another software, but otherwise also it's a name of software, it's by chance. But otherwise bibliometric is more about a visualization data. And when we see, we all know that a picture is worth than 1,000 words. So if we see the visualization of our literature, definitely it going to be retained in our mind for a longer way, and we can, we can get a nick of our data in a more, what you will say, defendable manner, and we can defend our research in a better way. Why bibliometrics? So right now, people think that bibliometrics is an easy way to publish the paper. I would comment much on that. But yes, this is a new guy in the domain or city. But the thing is that we undermine bibliometrics. It is not only a technique which helps in publication, but in general, whenever we want to write any paper, irrespective it is a SLR paper, or we want to pursue, or we want to tell something which is a new topic, upcoming topic, what we need, we ought to know what work has been done around that topic. Now, bibliometrics help you in knowing that. And it will help you in defending your PhD also, because when you will run bibliometric analysis on your data, you will come to know that what work actually has been done on your topic in a concise way. In 5-10 points, you would be able to explain all the literature around your topic. Isn't it an amazing technique? No other technique will help you in that sense. That's why bibliometric is getting much popularity. So it's not only for the publication, but also for knowing your data, or just to make sure that whether I should go in that research or not. Bibliometric also help you in finalizing your topic, I would like to say, because whenever you say ki, I want to write on this topic, you will get two views. So much work has been done on that, or people say you won't get papers. So you need not to listen anyone, you just do bibliometric analysis of your topic and you will get all your answers here, right? So bibliometric, what tells you is the what work has been done so far. What are the main keywords? We struggle a lot sometimes. What would be the right keyword? So this is an iterative process. With right keywords, you get more paper. And when you have, maybe you are not getting enough keywords in your mind, then you can do with 2-3 keywords, you can fetch papers, you can read those papers, you can add your, or you can refine your query, you can add new words, and you can get new words. So it's an iterative process. So definitely you are going to know that whatever domain I am working with, it is known by this name also in the research fraternity. What are the main countries? Sometimes it happens that some work has been done in one country and other country is not active enough in that research. So it could be a gap. Definitely it's not every time we can say that no work has been done. This is a very popular line among the researchers, that no work has been done in India, so that's why we are doing it. We can use this line, but the line ka justification should be a little different. How culturally or how India is different from other countries, they are doing research on that, but why there is a need to do that work or validate that work in the context of India. So rather than just putting that this work is not available in India, Bangladesh, Malaysia, whatever you want to say, we should put it in that way, that why there is a need to do this particular research in India, why we cannot we cannot apply the results of USA or China or Italy in India. So if you defend your work in that way, and then you will validate any scale, or if you will you repeat the research in your context, then it is easy to sell your paper in research market. Sorry. Then definitely, as one of my very honored colleague, Dr. Vijesh is there. He's also, I think, attending this particular session. So he very beautifully put it in one particular seminar, that this is the GK. What are the main journals? What are the main authors? What are the main keywords of our domain? So this is a kind of a small snapshot of your, or you can say 4 or 5 like King Champion kind of notes of your literature review. What are the main authors? What are the main keywords? What are the main countries which are publishing? And is there any connection among whether countries are researching it in aloof, or whether we are doing it in a collaborative way, or we are doing it in our own way? Like if we talk about some research on technology adoption, so can we see that which country is actively engaging that and with whom they are doing it? Is there any combination of developing or developed country, or developing countries are there at own that research, or developing are doing other, and nobody is looking at third world countries? So we can see these things also, and definitely it can help us in writing our project. If we want to apply for any project, it will help us there also, so we can justify our research problem. Then mapping the collaborations, and what are the main branches of particular research. Subdomains we get to know with this technique in a 5-10 minute exercise. Now these are some research question in a bibliometric based paper. So we can put certain research question like that. It's not that bibliometrics can be done in a number of softwares, as I have mentioned here, like BibExcel, Vosphere, SkyMet, Bibliometrics, hits this side, Gephi. But our presentation would be limited to only 2 software. Bibliometrics, that is a part of our studio only. BiblioShiny package we are going to use. In our that one is BiblioShiny, that is the known coders tool for doing bibliometric analysis and bibliometric software. So we'll be doing it with the BiblioShiny only. The result is either we use bibliometrics package, or we do it with the help of BiblioShiny, because the developers are same. And we will be using Vosphere. So this is some kind of reporting, and I'll show you in paper only. This is some snapshots, and I'll be talking about these things maybe during when we'll be doing hands-on. So right now I should so I'm just showing you few visualization. You must have seen that, but I'm just showing it to you. This is few reporting. So let me show you few papers, how we can publish through bibliometrics. So bibliometric can be in 2-3 types. The first paper, you can see that a bibliometric analysis of board diversity, current status, development, and future research direction. Now, in this bibliometric analysis, the authors have done a bibliometric study of a concept, which is board diversity, right? Another type is that this is the bibliometric analysis, recent trend of marketing, right? So they are doing it around the trends in the marketing, right? And for that purpose, they have selected few journals, not the whole data which was available, but they have selected few journals. So you can do it with the topic wise, you can do it with the journal wise, or there are two another categories of bibliometrics. The first is, third is the Journal of Heritage Tourism, a bibliometric overview since its inception. So these authors have done the bibliometric analysis of a journal itself. Definitely, if we are doing a bibliometric analysis of a journal, then definitely you are producing a product which is customized product to fit for that journal only. So you need to be very, very sure about the publication of that particular paper in that journal only. Otherwise, your whole exercise will go waste. And this is another finance for finance people. If somebody is there, momentum investing, SLR, and bibliometric analysis. And one more thing I wanted to show. Yeah. So this is role of digital innovation in knowledge management system. So what they have done, they have combined two topics, digital innovation and knowledge management systems. So you can do anyway. Even you can do for an industry also. So that could be also a different bibliometric. And it's not that if you do a bibliometric on one paper and if you see it, if it has been done, you cannot do it again. You can do it, but the thing is that you have to show how your bibliometric or how your SLR is different. If you can see this table 1, these authors have shown that comparison of previous study of board diversity and our study. So there are already existing SLRs on board diversity, but these people through this table are showing, if you can read this, because it doesn't make any sense that I read whatever written is there. So these people have already done, these 3 studies were also on the similar topic, but they have shown how their study is going to be different from other study. And you should dedicate one different section to this, as one of this paper has shown. I can show you this paper. They have done it very beautifully. They have shown it, how you can defend your research. Contribution of this SLR, one thing, and just give me a second. Problems of existing SR. So maybe you can tweak with the words, not problem, maybe the unanswered question or whatever. It's your creativity, or it's, you know, your wish what you want to write. But they have specifically, excuse me, they have specifically mentioned about the systematic reviews, but you know, what we can, how these studies were, you know, lacking in some aspect, and how we are taking forward their work. So when we are saying that this was the existing work, our intention should not be like that they have not done anything and we are the one who has done everything. It should be more like that how we are extending their work, or maybe we are doing that which they might have missed. So the tone should be like the extension and contribution rather than critical thing, right? So they have mentioned few studies which have done SLR on the same topic, but they are categorically naming a paper and they are telling what they have done and what they have not done, and how we are going to add different points in this SLR. So you can do SLRs, but then again you have to, you know, you have to justify your work, why you are doing that. Now moving forward, I think now we can go for the hands-on thing, that how we can go. Can I stop for a minute, sir, here, if anybody wants to ask anything, or can I proceed further, sir?
Whatever you say, Pooja.
So I think now, from now onwards, we'll be starting something new. So if anybody, we can stop here for 5 minutes. If the first step is that we have to do data acquisition, and for data acquisition, keyword is the key, right? So now the question rises, what are the right keywords, and how I'm going to do to get all the keywords? There are different methods of doing that, and again, a very attentive mind and kind of very fair technique should be there to select the keywords. Definitely, when we are going to do bibliometric on certain domain, we know few keywords, but we cannot be very sure that we know all the keywords. There are different methods of finding out what are the major keywords of my domain. The first method is that whatever keyword is available to you, you just go to the Scopus or any other database, search the paper, whatever result you get, try to read the keywords from that result, and if you can add up in the list of viewers of the keyword to make it more exhaustive. Second thing is that you take any SLR paper, right, or maybe in other domain, but the maybe in industry is the different, but the domain is same. Like if I say customer relationship management, maybe somebody has done it in the in hospitality, you can do it in retailing or any other thing. So you can borrow the keywords also from there, that what they have used keyword, you can add up in your list. That means you can take the help of literature to add on your keywords. Third thing is that you can get it peer reviewed also. You can show it to the person who is working in your domain, and if you can contact them, that and you can share your objective, and you can tell that I want to do research in this domain, and I want to extract some paper. Can you please peer review this particular kind of research string for me? Do you think it is enough? If it is enough, as we go for our questionnaire, we go for expert opinion. Similarly, for keywords also you can go. And why it is must, or why you should go for this, because keywords are the key of the paper. It is the backbone of your paper. Your whole SLR will be shaked if you lose something important in your keyword. So it is worthwhile. It's worthwhile to give so much effort while finalizing the keywords. Now, when you finalize the keyword, the second task is go to any database and you can create a list. There was a discussion about that which kind of database we should go. Either we should take one, either we should take two. So, friends, the reference of everything. There are people who has taken 10 databases. There are people who has just taken one. There are debates whether WS is more, is better than Scopus, or Scopus is better. People have given different kind of justification. Whatever is available to you from whatever citation database, you get the papers for your domain, go ahead with that. But definitely in every case, you need to give some kind of citation why this particular database was chosen over another database. So you have to have some reference of that, because that will make your claim more strong, that yes, if whatever you have done what you will say, you have done it in a better way or in an efficient way, not just that you have missed something important. Definitely not everyone can, a single person can do everything. There is always scope to do further things, and you can add these things in your limitation of the study, that maybe future studies I have done it on Scopus, maybe future paper can be conducted on amalgamating 2 or 3 resources. So always acknowledge whatever you have done, and report it as your limitation of the study. We always do that. Then you have to convert your file in a proper extension. BiblioShiny takes certain extension. For WOS, Web of Science file, it takes .txt, plain text. For Scopus, it runs on both BibTeX as well as CSV. And then we have to load the data and convert the data, and This is done by the software conversion, and you will get with the pictures or visualization. So we'll be doing these exercises. So as far as databases are available, these are certain databases. All databases have their certain plus and minus. Like if we want to extract the data from Web of Science, we cannot extract more than 500 files in a go. And if we are using BiblioShiny, then one problem comes that we cannot combine two files. We can take 500 one go, 500 another go, but again the problem arises that we cannot use BiblioShiny. So if we are taking data from Web of Science and we are using BiblioShiny, then without tampering to file or making some certain adjustment of file, if we don't know that, then we cannot run the data of more than 500 papers, right? For Scopus, this limit is 2000, right? That's why people sometimes prefer Scopus. PubMed is again another citation, but for social science, I have seen maximum people use either Web of Science or Scopus or a combination of both. Then Dimension is another database. Now this is Scopus screenshot. Like as you can see that I have put two words, sustainability and marketing, and I got certain results over there. This is a screenshot of a search string. As you can see that I have done this first level. Now these guys have done something beyond that, responsiveness or responsive and retailing. So they are doing bibliometric of responsiveness construct in retailing. So they have put and retailer and responsiveness or. So these are the Boolean operator we will be doing right now, little bit of these right now. And then they have limit to their language English. They have taken just English language paper. They have just taken articles. They have just taken research papers. And the subject area was business and management. So these are the filters they have applied, and these are the main keywords. So if we see that keywords, these were responsiveness or responsive, or customer, or chain, supply, retail. These were their keywords, or retail chain, right? So this is the diagram they have given in their paper. Like first we have to identify the database. They have taken Web of Science. Then keywords, they have given 6 keywords. They have identified 937 paper. As you can see from my this, I got 5628 without putting any filter. Then screening of the article, that means you have to put inclusion. That means I will take only journal paper. I will take only English language paper. So any inclusion criteria could be put your as exclusion criteria also. It's a play of words only. And then we go to step 5, where we read some papers, and then we take 474 papers, articles by years and this, and then we do bibliometric analysis. So you will find many things in different papers. People are becoming very creative, and they are come up with different diagrams. So now let's move to hands-on thing. And before that, I'm showing a paper and I'm boring some keywords for a paper. This is a e-word of mouth, as I have shown you right now. Now, if you can read this paper, they will say methodology section directly. I'm going. A literature review is a systematic paper, and this they have done. So what they have done? They have mentioned each and every step. See, the two most reputed bibliometric databases are Scopus and Web of Science. So they have given, they have just set the ground for their, databases. And then Scopus has a broader coverage than WOS. So we restricted our final research to Scopus database. Scopus is the largest database, and itne hai from different publishers. So they have given some references that this particular study was also Scopus database. So they have taken only one database, and they have given due reference that this study was also based on Scopus database. So we can also go ahead. Now, why I'm showing you this paper and why I'm reading it, because this is a category journal, and they have done it on one database also. So these things are not important. The important is that whatever you have written down, whatever database you have taken, whatever you're doing, okay, that was a limitation. But what do you want to say out of those reading those papers? That is the main crux of any SLR paper. So these are the main keywords: word of mouth, electronic word of mouth, online word of mouth, and so on, right? They have used OR operator. So this is another way of showing what keyword we used and how we combined. And in my PPT, you could see one search string. So this is the another way of showing that how we went about it. So these are the different ways of depicting your work or explaining your work. So they are saying whenever we put these word combination of word, putting O sign, we got 12,367 articles. Then we put inclusion and exclusion criteria. And if we read their inclusion exclusion criteria, the first was that conference paper, book chapter, commentaries, erratum, and so on were excluded from the research results since articles and reviews published in journal are considered to be certified knowledge. See, they have again given reference. Whatever inclusion exclusion criteria you are giving, it's always good that you put a reference out of there. Otherwise, your work may come in doubt why you have taken this. And it's not necessary that you won't get any reference that those have taken conference paper. You will get that reference also. People have taken conference paper. If the topic is new, then people have taken that also. So it's not that you cannot take conference paper or anything. You can do anything, but the important thing is that you have to report whatever you have taken. And if you can put a reference to that, that is another amazing thing. Now, if you can see that they have initially started with 12,367 articles, and by putting only one that limit filter, the results reduced to 6,041. Now they are they further restricted by only articles published in English. Language wise they have restricted. Now it is 5741. And then third exclusion was done on the publication time frame. So they have taken a time frame of 2000 to 2020 because information technology accelerated in 1990s. Now again for time frame, you have to see in your citation database how at what time or from which period that topic or domain has started flourishing. If it is flourishing before 2000 also, and you are taking just 20 years, then again you need certain kind of reason quoted here that why you are taking 20 years, why you are not taking 40 years, 30 years. So because they have given well reason ki 90s it started developing, so people started using in 2000 only, so that's why we are taking 20. 5-year SLRs are also there, 10 years are also there, depending upon what type of SLR you are doing. So one type of whatever the period is applying for one type of SLR may not apply for another SLR. And another second thing, if you can give a reference that this particular domain on this particular topic, people have taken this 5 year, and my data, which I fetched after running those keywords, is giving me enough papers, to give my view objective. The whole idea is about this number, this filter is just to show that researcher is not biased. There is no other reason. Nobody is questioning why. There are SLR available which are on 14 paper based. There are SLR which are on more than 100 papers based. So no number is defined here. The idea is that your work should be, should be objective in nature. Biasness free work you should do. Then again they have reduced, and the application of third delimiter, the articles reduced to 5709. If you can see 5741, because maximum publication is done in English only, particularly in Scopus database, so it has limited to, so not much difference is there. But another reason is that readability of the language. We cannot understand another language, so how we are going to analyze that literature? So that makes sense also. And then the fourth and final delimiter was done based on article from non-related field. Articles were limited to business management and accounting. So they have discipline. There are different disciplines like accounting, like social science, like psychology, like decision sciences. So they have confined the research to business management accounting. Again, this is a prerogative of researcher only. If they want to limit it to 4 databases, they can go ahead. If they want to do it to 1 database, it's their wish. So you cannot be challenged as such on that thing if you acknowledge it that my research was limited to this field. So you can see that it's not possible to do SLR of so many papers. So that's why it makes sense that enough paper were available 1896. So they done that. Now after that they make a BibExcel file or CSV file, which we are going to do right now. And then they read the abstracts and titles of this paper. So this is a procedure. It's not that whatever crap you get from that CSV file, you are going to put everything in your BiblioShiny and you will get result. sometimes it will lead you nowhere. It's just like that. You're not doing the pilot study. you are ready with your questionnaire, and you are filling it with the 500,000 people, and then you have come with the Sida sample, you have put the data. So if you do that way, sometimes you may be lucky, you may get result, but most of the time it will create a lot of problems. So now I am moving to the let's hire some keywords from this paper only. I have taken just two papers, or you two keywords, or you can take more be, but I need to put or in between, so I'm just I'm just avoiding that task. So directly I'm going to my Web of Science. Why Scopus I'm not doing right now? Because Scopus search ka video you can see on my YouTube. So I thought I can go with the different software right now. So that's why I'm using Web of Science right now. So this is my Web of Science window. So right now I'm just pasting it. So these are certain keywords which I will, make a string. This is called query, right? So I'll make it a query. Right now, these are separate keywords. Now I'll make it a query. I'll put bracket. I'll put inverted comma. Why I need to put inverted comma? Because otherwise, if I'll not put, the software may read it electronic as a separate word, off as a separate word. So I want that these keywords should come together. Or any of the keyword will solve my purpose. So I am putting or. If I would have been particular that I want this particular word and this, so I'll put and. For example, I can do it in retailing or banking, right? So I may do it for that. I'll show it to you what I'm trying to say. So let's say I'm limiting it here. I'm just deleting everything. Now this is the simple keyword. Now what this key string will give me, whatever work in the WOS citation database has been done on using these keyword, and where this keyword I can find out in the topic. Topic means you can see search title, abstract, author keyword, title only. So that means this database will look for these keywords. If I, by default it is topic, that means if the database find these keywords either in title or in abstract or in author's keyword, it will take this paper for me, right? It will bring this paper for me. If I limit it to कि I just want to see कि title में कितनों ने use किया, how many people have used it in title, then I can limit it to that. But generally it is advisable to go with the topic, because nowadays there is a now people give very fancy titles sometimes, and we cannot judge the paper from the title itself. Sometimes it happens. So we may lose some important papers. So that's why we should try to give this topic, right? And now I'm putting, and you can yourself again fix within WS. There are certain databases, but better it is you take all the databases. Right now I'm not putting any filter, anything. If you want to add any row, you can add that. If you want to search in certain journal only, you can add it here. But if you don't want, just leave it. And this particular citation softwares are very much sensitive to the words or the method in which you can give the query. If you forgot to put inverted comma at one place, then search query will not run, right? Now you can see I got 1265 result. Now mind it, this 1265 result could be from any language. Our inclusion of they have conference paper as well. They they are peer reviewed or non peer reviewed also things. They can be of any time frame, because I have not limited my time frame. From first paper which was available with WOS would be a part of this paper. And most importantly, it could be from any industry or any subject, right? So we can refine our research by filtering using some filters, right? Like, okay, so I need to tick only open access, Just give me a second. Now, whatever automatic setting was there, it has given me that setting. It has given open access 2017, it has given me, right? Right now it's showing open access only papers, but it shows both kind of access, but right now it's not anyhow working from my institute, so it's showing this. But the basic idea is that I'm just showing you how to do it, right? You can limit your papers also. If you want to do 10-year SLR, you can go select 10 LSR. Your refined selection on the screen will not be remembered if you continue with more or features. So it's showing me this thing, right? I need to select these. If I want to make my search specific to certain years, and I can see that I may leave these 3 years because they are not contributing much, or maybe these 5 years. So I can do that also. So it's completely my wish how I want to go about that. Again, it has reduced to certain numbers. Similarly, you can use anything like document type. So in document type, you can take article paper. Whenever we are running any content analysis, generally we don't take review papers for this descriptive. We use these review paper in writing a literature review of a review paper, right? Refine. Either you can go one by one, because in that paper I've shown you, they have told ki at what point, what number of paper has come, or you can go in a single go. It's your wish how you want to report. So you will get all kind of papers which have done. If you want, if you are interested in certain authors also, and here also you will get certain kind of GK, which are the main authors in this particular domain. We don't want this thing, so we can go back. If we want to see which are the leading research funding agencies, if you want to put any project, we can get an idea from here also. So this is not only for writing paper. This particular softwares are Citation and Biblioshiny are useful in many other ways. Again, you want source title. If you want to limit your research to certain journals, as I shown that bibliometrics is done on certain journals also, you can go ahead. But right now, I cannot see any prominent resources on that other than Sustainability Journal, which has talked more about this. So I can go ahead with this, or otherwise I can leave it for now. Languages is another, English, because you can see that there was some Korean citation also. So it's not surprised that we get Korean papers so many there, because there was some database there. And research area. This is very important. In Scopus and Web of Science, you can find a little bit of difference. In Scopus, business, accounting, and management are in the same place, but in Web of Science, these are two different places. So we can take business economics or behavioral sciences if we want to say. So that totally depends upon you what you want to say. I'm not right now looking, because I've not done literature review on this particular domain, so I'm just showing it for the demo purpose. There is no reason why I'm choosing one and why I'm not choosing another. But if you are doing for writing a paper, definitely you have to tell why you have taken you have preferred one over other. So you can find social science, you can find psychology, then business economics is there, and some general management is also there. So you can find out if you can see. If it is nothing there, then you can leave. So you can refine it, let's say. Right? So let's say my whole thing has been done. And now you can see 50 pages per page. In Scopus, you can see 200 pages, papers per page, but doesn't matter. Now our next task is to take all these 112 papers to some file. Now what you will do, export to file format. Now if you then it will take only 10 records, because on page you were seeing 10 pages. If you say records from 1 to 112, by default you cannot take more than 500, right? So it will take first 500, then you have to move to another 500, like that, but it cannot take more than 500. What you want to take, by default it doesn't take abstract, you have to select it, and you have to take it in plain text if you want to run this file into the BiblioShiny, right? So depending upon which software of bibliometrics you are using, you can choose the your software, right? You can choose the file. This is called file format. So different formats are there. So I'm exporting it. By default, it goes to downloads. So now my file is in downloads. I can see that. This is my file. And you can see that all the information is written. So this is the version, this is author, ये है publication type journal, title, source, volume, but all the information. See, Scopus extract more information, Web of Science extract less information. So it's all about the algorithm which this particular citation software has given. So there is no reason why it cannot take more or less. But yes, these both work in a different structure. So this is all the information. Sometimes this blank file will create a problem. I'll show you how these create problem. Then you have to correct the file also. So sometimes it happens. So now I'm going to R software. So right now I'm thinking that I have created all the raw material for my file, and now I'm going to go beyond that. And one more thing you can do before running Shiny, you can take this file to CSV and you can read your just give me a second. You can read your data as well. Let's say we export it to the problem is that BiblioShiny doesn't go to this CSV file. So you have to do it from this. Scopus goes to CSV file also. Anyhow, we can read it from there also. Now, I will not devote time on how you can download R, what is R, who has made it. Neeraj sir always tell this before telling anything on R, and you can go and check out his videos also, how to download R and what are packages and all the basic information about R. So I am just telling you, you have downloaded R. I'm assuming that you know how to download R. You have a little bit of knowledge about how to work in R. I'm assuming that. And based on that assumption, I'm going further. So you have to write just 2 coding lines. The first is library, bibliometrics, or you can do it install.packages and inverted comma bibliometrics. Now what this command is going to do, this command is going to call this library function for you. Now BiblioShiny is its known Quadra based app. Within bibliometrics, they have developed that. After this thing, I'm going to enter this BiblioShiny. Now what it will happen, it will open in another window. It will not open here, it will go to your Chrome, right? Or whatever browser you have. So let me show you this thing also. Because it's already open in my system, maybe it's not shining, it's not showing, or maybe it's hidden behind this. I need to see. No, let me do it again. Maybe it's red, so I should wait for a minute. I'm not able to take it. So by default, you will get this particular, you will be directed to this particular page. Then you have to put your data. The first thing first, you have to put import or load files. Now, when because it is a raw file, I have not done anything on that. Whatever software has designed text file, I have to choose this. I have taken the file of Web of Science. It works, this particular software runs only on 5 databases: Web of Science, Scopus, Dimension, PubMed, and Cochrane. Other than that, either you can use another software or you can learn coding, and you can do it in R, but you will not get the services of BiblioShiny. Then you have to browse the file. So I got this file. This was the latest file I got. And then I start. Now you can see this error. I knew that this error will come. That's why deliberately I had that. If you remember, I shown you the empty rows. So this happened because of that. Because of some structural issues that software has given, sometimes this happens. So what is a remedy available with us? Then we need to correct that, the structure of the file. We need to remove the empty lines from that. So sometimes data comes into different rows. So we have to do it manually. So right now I have another file also, which is comparatively clean. So I am putting that file. Right. So this is the file. Of course, this file is not based on eWord thing. This is some old work of mine. So but the idea is that you have to load the file like this, right? So before going further, I would like to stop here for a minute. Till now, if anyone has any problem, then I can wait for 5 minutes, and otherwise I'll go ahead. Okay, sir. Thank you. So we have done till here. Now we were in the BiblioShiny environment. So this particular one thing is showing me that I have 31 results only, right? It's a small file. So generally we don't have such small file, but right now I have this file, or maybe I can attach the Scopus files also. So I have one Scopus file also. Let me attach that also. What you have to do, you have to change the dimensions here, Scopus, and you can browse wherever that file is available with you. Mine is in downloads. I have attached that file. The attaching of file is similar, but the difference is that you have to choose what kind of database you are using, right? Now again, this file is showing errors. That means there are certain entries which are problematic here. Like you can say this space problem. So this is problem here. Now I have to either delete this or correct this. If I'm doing it, it may create certain problems. So I may delete this. And now I will try whether sometimes you see these blanks, sometimes you are not able to see even these blanks. So this is again very, sometimes it looks very easy, but it's not that easy. Again, there are many. So I'm just going to my old file only. Web of Science file. So today was not my good day to have good files. So this is the file. Now this file has very less paper, that is 31 entries only. You can see it from here, right? And now you go to read to your data set. Now this is the main information. Now whatever data I have, it has a time span of 2016 to 20. So it's kind of horoscope of your study, whatever you have done till now. This is this. Sources, there are 20 sources from which these 31 documents has been arrived. This is average year publication, matlab in what year? In these 5 years, per year publication is this, citation is this, references this, and all the information. There are only 2 papers which has been authored by single author, documents per author, authors per document, and co-authors. So different kind of collaboration index is high here, 3.41. So that means more and more people are working in a collaborative way. This is keyword plus. Now what is keyword plus? Keyword plus is the which software extract from the title, abstract and keyword. We are not asking him that this is the keyword. Authors has given their keyword in the form of author keyword, but keyword plus which software itself takes on the basis of centrality, on the basis of frequency, right? So this is the basic information about our whatever we have fetched. We have taken in this dataset 2 review paper, 2 papers, articles from early access, and 27 articles. Mind it, I don't have any conference paper here. If it would have been a part of my file, it would have been revealed here, right? Then I want to see what is the average scientific. If you remember that this diagram was very much available. If you don't like this diagram, you can see to the table and you can export this file to your Excel and you can make your own line chart. You can do that, right? You can report that, as we have seen in many paper, bar diagrams were there. By default, BiblioShiny give this diagram only. If you don't like this diagram, you can make your own anytime by downloading this file to simple Excel. And if you can see my downloads, it's already there, right? Then average citations per year. So this data is fetching these citations every year. ये mean citations per year, right? Per article and ये per year. So this is all information. It's not necessary that you are going to put each and every information. This is something very interesting. I'm just right now I'm doing it as default. Then we can make changes. So how to read this diagram? What is this? This is called, first of all, Sankey plot. Now Sankey plot means we compare 3 things at one go. If I can make it little zoom. See, I can, middle field is of authors. As you can see that you can change it. You want countries, let's say, and you don't want 20 countries, you want to make 10 countries. Left field is your references. I don't want references. I want to see what keywords are there, right? So there is no reason why I'm doing this or why I'm doing that. It's totally your creativity, your wish, what things you want to see. Let's say I want to see what affiliations maybe I can go, or I can see keywords. So it will tell me, is there any difference between keywords and key plus? Sometimes authors give different keywords and database, using their algorithm use different. So then I will simply put apply. Now you can see that it was keywords. But this is showing sources. I don't know why. One more thing I want to say, sometimes BiblioShiny face certain kind of problems itself. So you can write the developer itself to the mail and he may reply to your queries also. So right now I have chosen left is showing me the name of the author while I have choose the keywords. So it's not working right now properly. So sometimes it creates certain kind of problem also. So right now it's not giving, but yes, in right you can see certain keywords. So it can also show that this particular author has, cited these, and these are the keyword has been used by him. So you can read it that way. It's sad that sometimes it doesn't work properly, but that is the limitation of software. So we cannot work much, we cannot be very problem solver about that thing. Then moving further, sources. Now most relevant sources, I want to see which are the main top 20 journal in my field, which are publishing in this particular domain. So this particular file is related to smartwatches, right? Or wearable devices. So Computers in Human Behavior is a leading journal. Then these are the journal. You can apply, you can take top 1920, or you can see any other, any number of sources. You can limit that also. And you can take out the table also. And if you want all the rows, show all. If you don't want to see everything, 10 rows. So you can, little bit customize your output here, right? And many things are given by this particular software. It keeps on updating. Now it's 3.3 version, so it keeps on updating. So in every version you get certain new feature. Like this particular feature is something new which I have not used, so maybe it's saying the how to export upload. Otherwise we used to have snipping tool, or we used to have some kind of you know, what you will say, print screen to take it. Now it is directly help me in exporting this plot from here. So right now I'm not doing it because it will waste my time. And but you can definitely export these diagrams also wherever you want to. If you are happy with this visualization, you can take it as it is. But if you are not happy, you can make you can take a simple Excel file of this and you can make your own diagrams. Like I've shown in these paper, these people have their own they have made their own diagrams. They have not used you know, these by default diagrams. If you can see that publication wala, they have made their own diagrams, right, in Excel. But input was definitely from there. As you can see, that H index, then NP, then total citations. So these are certain parameters. What you will report, it's totally up to you what you want to report, right? Now they have given explanation of number of published paper, means NP. So this person has published this many papers. So these are the influential author in their field. So going back to our this thing, why I'm showing it simultaneously, that you should know how people are reporting it, because otherwise you will forget what was done. Then local cited. Now there are two terms. One is global citation and other is local cited. You will get it here. Now they have removed that global citation thing, but yeah, it's there. Now, what is difference between global cited document and local cited document? Or earlier it was available for authors also. But let me tell you with an example. Let's say I have done some paper on adoption of e-banking, for example, using TAM, right? So somebody else is doing some research on using any other technology in HR, right? Maybe biometric system. So maybe he can refer my paper that in marketing also somebody has proved this relationship as a significant relationship. Now, when I'm doing bibliometrics in biometric attendance in HR, I may not use the paper of marketing domain. Definitely it doesn't fit, but that person has used my paper, right? So in that case, global citation is that how much time that particular paper was cited by any other paper indexed in Scopus or Web of Science, which database, whatever uses. I put it more simpler. Let's say I am doing some bibliometric analysis in HR domain. Now, in HR domain, the paper of HR domain has been cited by some person in the marketing domain. So when I talk about most global cited author, if that HR domain person whose paper I am using for this particular review has been cited by other paper, which is not part of my corpus, that would be a global citation. Vis-a-vis local citation means, let's say you have seen I have 31 document, and out of those 31 document, one paper have cited the paper which is already my part of 31 document. Then it would be a local cited paper, right? So whatever paper I am using for my reference, for my work, if any paper from those paper within that group has been cited, it will make the local citation of that paper. Global citation means that paper has been cited by journal indexed in Scopus only. That will not take, if that paper is cited by WOS wala or maybe any other, that will not taken care in global citation while calculation of global citation. But if that paper is cited by any other paper which is not part of my study, which is not part of my corpus, but listed paper in Scopus, so that will make a global citations. Now they have removed that facility from here, that global citation. They have just given local cited, and that makes sense also, because we want to see. Now Kim is that author that many people have, within these 31 studies or maybe 30 studies have cited this Kim 11 times. That means there are possibility when Zhou is writing his paper, he has cited Kim. Maybe when Lade is writing his paper or her paper, they have cited Kim. So local citation work like this. So Kim is the author which has been cited maximum time out of this 31, or maybe for that matter 30 papers, because one is Kim paper only. So this is the local citations. If we want to see which author has worked more, definitely bigger the dot, the larger number of paper. But the problem with Kim is that he has written just one paper and now he is not publishing. Vis-a-vis Ramayat is starting his paper in 11, and in 2020 also there was one paper. Now single dot means they have come up with just one paper. This line means that person has published from one period to another period. This size of dot means how many papers one has done. So because this is a very small corpus of 31 papers only, so we are not getting that good result. So maybe I'll come up with some good corpus tomorrow. So maybe next class, so we can see how better visualization we can get, because with 31 paper doing bibliometric doesn't make any sense, but it's just a demo file, so I'm going further with that. Then Lotka view I'm not showing, but it is again diminishing return kind of thing, so we don't plot it much, so I'm not telling much about that, because we cannot I'm talking here about the important diagram or figure which we have observed that scholars are reporting in their papers. So we are discussing that. Now Kim again is a author which has high H index, high G index, high M index. Total citation he has 110. He has 2 number of production, and publication year started in 2016. So similarly for each and every document, this information you can see, and if you can remember that word of mouth paper, they have taken information from here also. And how they can take, you can simple take an Excel file and you can again make it customized. Then most relevant affiliation, that means which university is working more about that. So Malaysia is the leading one, and followed by another universities. This is the table, Korea University, and you can read the names. So in a way you will come to know that which university and which country is more actively interested in doing the research on this particular domain. The corresponding author, country, you can see the diagram. Now blue line means single country production, red line means multiple country production, and this thing is the country of the corresponding author, right? So that means there are 11 studies which Korea has produced, and all these 11 studies are produced from Korea only. No co-author from other country was involved here. Vis-a-vis when we talk about this, there are 4 studies in which Chinese author was the corresponding author, and 4 studies for there where only Chinese author were involved, and definitely corresponding author was from also China. But there are 5 studies in which other country people were also involved, but the corresponding author was of China only, right? So you have to read it that sense. That means you can also come up with that thing. The higher the SCP, that means that country is not working in collaboration. They are not open for the global collaboration. Their scholars are working in their own this thing. So you can see that in India, definitely this data is very small. So we should not make any judgment out of India's performance or anything of that sort. But you can see that in China, people are open for collaboration, while in Korea, which is almost neighboring, they are not open. USA is also open in a particular domain. So it will give you also an insight that whether you want to collaborate, and if you really want to collaborate, which country scholar you may approach. So it will help you in that way also, right? And then country scientific production, again, which country is more active. And this particular software work in real time only. We cannot go offline while using this particular software. So this is the plot which you have seen in that paper. The darker the color, the more production in that country. You can see China, Afghanistan, not applicable. I don't know, one, Pakistan, one. Then one study is from Egypt, and similar result you can see. If you want to see which country has been cited more, so this is Korea. Of course, Korea has produced more papers, so there are chances that they will be cited more times. So this is this tab. Now we come to the documents. Now documents means which paper is the most cited. Now this particular document written by Yang H, telematics information is the informatic is the source, and this is his DOI. This is his citation. You can set it by ascending or descending order. This is the algorithm which software has given. This is citations and like that. So this work like Excel. You can filter it from any column. And if you want to see the plot of that, it is also available. Local cited documents, scholars have told you that whatever these 30 authors have cited Yang cited document, this paper has been cited most of the time. Now this is the difference. That was the local cited, and this is most cited references. That means it has been done other than smartwatches also. People have cited him other than this smartwatches, any other technology adoption papers also people have cited Kim. While when we talk about this, Yang is the paper which was within this cited document. I don't know when it was there. It was giving some different result. So again, relevant author means global citation. Local citation author is, again, it is given Kim as. So we need to see, sometime Yang is at 10 and Kim is at 11. We need to sometime manually check why these results are coming, because sometimes some coding error comes in this. So we need to be mindful. We cannot just blindly report this, tables. We need to relook and critically look at these tables. As you can see that some problem came here, and I've not done anything. Whatever they are saying, I'm just reading that. So these are the most frequent keyword, right? People report that. Now this is the keyword plus minded. That means software has taken it. You can find out what authors have. Is there any difference? Now when authors are being, they are putting smartwatch as their keyword or wearable device. But when software is taking it out, they are saying adoption, user acceptance, and interface technology are the top keywords. So this is the difference. And when we are explaining these tables, we should highlight these differences. Then again, word cloud, we all are familiar with word cloud. And you can reduce the number of words from here. You can change the frequency. Literature says, and the developer says, you can use different kind of algorithm depending upon what you find that is more representing your domain. So you can go with any kind of this algorithm. By default, it takes frequency. That means how many number of time, and if you put some kind of cursor on that, it will tell you also how many times it came. Earlier it was showing the log value, now it's showing the n value. You can see that. Now it will show the square root value. It's not an absolute number, but when I was doing it with frequency, it was absolute number. And you can change the colors, you can change the shape as you can do with any other thing. You can do the font type change, you can do the diamond, or you can do light dark, whatever. Only two options are there. So anything you can play around, whatever you find good. Similarly, you can go with the tree map, and Similarly, and again, we all know that the bigger the box, the most frequent word is that. The smaller the box, the less frequent word is that. Now, this whole thing is called performance analysis, actually. We are just telling the performance. From here onwards, coupling, capital concept structure, this would be the size mapping. So actually, this will give the value to your paper. This is like when you, in your survey paper, there are two parts now. When you explain your descriptive and other part, you tell your model and your structural framework. Similarly, in bibliometrics, this part is your demographic information or basic information, and this part is your basic contribution thing, because here you are not trying to make any kind of connections, but from here onwards you will try to build up some connection, that if this connection is there, as we will do, maybe not today, we will be able to do that maybe next class, and how we can go beyond that. So word dynamics is very important. I really like it personally. Now you can see how many insights it's giving. In 2016, this word, which is named by technology acceptance model, was used. Then it's shown some gloom period, and then it's again. Information technology was at peak in 2016. Now people are not using. Now what is in peak at 2020 is the adoption. Earlier people used to use these growth, and now this based on keyword plus. If you want to see what authors have started giving keyword, is there any difference? You can see that. Now, authors earlier used to give IoT in 19, but now they are not using IoT much. Now they are shifted to wearable devices, because we are seeing many models of Fitbit and many other devices. This particular wearables is a constant kind of thing. This blue one, I don't know what is this. I think wearables. And this blue has been down, and then smartwatch has again peaked. So we can go in the literature and we can see that why it has dropped, and we can find out the reason, and that will make our paper different from the other papers who are writing the paper in the same using same technology or using same technique. So this critical analysis or this explanation will make our paper publishable to a good journal. Now this is again dot wise. In 2016, these two keywords were main: intention, services, then technology took a lead, and now adoption is taking lead in this particular thing. Trend topics. So we get to know where we need to work. From intention to adoption, we are moving there. Now we are not much working on intention, because, and it makes sense also. It came in 2010, 11 or 12. We were just doing intention, but nowadays when many people are having it, then why we are talking about intention? We should work on adoption. So it makes sense also in that sense. So I think I should stop here for today, and in next session, whenever on January 26 January, I'll be finishing this with another things which I have to cover.